It is the year 2563. Planet Earth has survived a war known as the Fall, which happened 300 years ago. There is a city floating above the Earth in the sky, called Zalem, suspended by advanced engineering. Beneath this is a city called Iron City, which is connected by tubes from Iron City's factory to Zalem. Zalem keeps throwing waster down in the junkyard, and we Dr. Ito, who is here. He discovers a core of female cyborg that has brain and core heart, but without body nor limbs. He decides to bring the cyborg back to his lab in order to save her. Together with a nurse assistant, Ito rebuilds the cyborg with a spare robotic body in his cyborg clinic. The cyborg wakes up and is surprised and happy to see her new body. She goes to meet Ito and tells him she is hungry. She says she has no recollection of any memories. Ito tells her he found her like this and her human brain was only working. Ito sees her sensory taste is also working when she likes orange fruit after trying it for the first time. Outside, she is excited to see the new world and comes to know about Zalem. Ito tells her everyone is Iron City works for Zalem and no one goes up since it's a rule. Ito names her Alita, as she didn't know her own name, and Alita is very happy to receive a new name. She also sees motorball sport being played on TV. Later, Alita finds a paper which says there is a prize money of 20,000 points for finding the killer who murdered 6 women. She is saved from a giant robot by a boy named Hugo, who is surprised to know she is a cyborg. Alita is drawn towards Hugo, and we can see that she likes him. One night, Alita sees Ito return home late and sees his hand is injured. Ito is a doctor who repairs cyborgs in the city, and he tells Alita to not go outside after dark. Alita sees the bandage of Ito's hand and feels he is hiding something. When she goes outside, she meets a woman named Chirin who is surprised to see her. Chirin was Ito's partner, and Ito had built this body for her real daughter. After their daughter died, Ito and Chirin separated, and Ito used this body to save the cyborg. Later, Alita meets Hugo, who introduces her to motorball race in the neighborhood. Chirin tells Ito to join her team and work with Vector, has powerful connections in Zalem.
She believes they both can work together and go up to Zalem.
Ito says he does not want to build monsters for motorball game and tells her no. Chirin says she will do whatever it takes and one day she will go to Zalem. Hugo introduces her to all the participants and Alita decides to play motorball. The game starts and Alita falls down and is made fun by everyone. After a few times, her natural competitive streak shows up and she is able to defeat everyone by scoring a motorball goal. After the game, Hugo gives a chocolate to Alita, who loves it. He also shows her that he wanted to be a hunter warrior like Zepernick, with a long sword as his trademark weapon. He says hunter warriors collect money by killing criminals in Iron City. Hugo takes Alita to his favorite place and tells her he dreams of moving to the sky city of Zalem. He tells Alita she came from Zalem as she was found in junkyard, where all things from Zalem are thrown away. Alita feels sad that she does not remember anything. Later at night, Alita decides to follow Ito to see where he is going. She finds Ito is following a girl and is about to attack her with his weapon. He stops Ito but realizes he is a hunter warrior and the girl is a killer cyborg. They are attacked by 2 other cyborgs and Ito decides to fight them. While they are fighting, Ito gets injured and Alita jumps in to protect him and kills one cyborg. The other cyborg girl attacks Alita, and we see Alita is naturally skilled in ancient martial arts. She fights the cyborg and kills her also very easily. The third cyborg, called Gruishka, attacks her, and while fighting him, Alita has memory flashbacks. She sees that she used to be a warrior with code 99 foot and is fighting in a battle on Moon. She uses Ito's weapon and severely damages Gruishka's arms. Gruishka retreats underground and promises to come back and hunt down Alita. On their way back to collect the bounty, she tells Ito about her memory. Ito tells Alita that he gets paid to stop criminals in Iron City, and he enters a building. Inside the building, he submits the cyborg and collects their rewards.
Ito tells Alita he does this to get money to run the clinic and help other cyborgs.
Alita asks Ito whose body she is actually using, and Ito decides to tell her. He says the robotic body was initially built for Ito's late daughter, real Alita, because she was wheelchair-bound. Real Alita never had a chance to use it as she was killed by a cyber robber who broke into Ito's clinic looking for drugs. Chiron left Ito because of this, and he went and killed the cyber robber for revenge. Later he realized he must clean this world of such criminals and registered himself as a hunter-warrior. He also tells Alita that her brain is a normal human brain, but her heart is made of antimatter technology. This technology is very old and says Alita must be at least 300 years old. Next we see Vector, who is the boss who manages Iron City motorball competition. He has the authority from Zalem scientist Nova, who resides up to send people to Zalem. We see an injured Gruishka come to Chiron for help, and we come to know he works for them. While repairing Gruishka, Nova sends a message from through Gruishka. He says that Alita has injured this cyborg using an ancient fighting technique Panzerkunst, and he wants Alita dead. Nova takes control of Vector's body and promises Chiron that she can go back to Zalem if she succeeds the mission. Alita and Hugo go to see a motorball game, which is quite fast and dangerous. Hugo tells her that every few years the motorball winning champion is sent to Zalem as a prize. Vector and Chiron see a motorball player who has chain-shaped cutters and decide to take it. Later the same player is attacked and kidnapped by a gang and taken to Vector. They cut his chain weapons and give it to Vector for money. We see that Hugo and his friends attack cyborgs and steal their body parts for fixing and upgrading Gruishka. The next day, Hugo and his friends brought Alita to a forest area outside the city. Here they find an old abandoned spaceship from the Fall era which has technology. Alita decides to go into the spacecraft through an underwater door. She reaches the main command deck and finds a warrior cyborg body there. She brings the body back to Ito and asks him to install her in the body. Ito refuses her and says she has a second chance in life without being a warrior.
Alita says she feels a connection to it and use this body against Gruishka.
Ito says this body is of a berserker who are expert trained cyborgs in killing and says he will never allow this to happen. Alita is disappointed and goes away from there. She goes and registers herself as a hunter-warrior and goes Kansas Bar to meet other hunter-warriors. Alita asks them to help her take down Gruishka. They refuse to help as Gruishka is not in the wanted list, and there is no money in killing him. Zepan tries to embarrass Alita, but Alita easily beats him in a fight and humiliates him. Alita challenges all the other hunter-warriors to either join her or fight. A massive battle begins in the bar, and Ito comes in time to stop the fight. Suddenly we see Gruishka storms into the bar, and his weapons are upgraded with chain cutters. Gruishka challenges Alita to a rematch and makes a hole in the ground.
He calls Alita to fight him there and they start fighting underground.
Despite her martial arts skills, Alita's body is sliced up by Gruishka's bladed fingers. She gets another vision about her life in which she is reminded to kill Nova. Ito and another hunter-warrior come and help Alita, and Gruishka runs away from there. Ito takes Alita back to her and places her in the berserker body. The body automatically configures with her and adjusts her look. Alita wakes up and likes her new body and then goes to meet Hugo. Hugo is surprised to see her all right, and Alita and Hugo share a kiss. Gruishka comes to meet Vector, who tells him to kill Alita and bring her heart. Vector meets Hugo and tells him he can send him to Zalem for 1 million credits. Later Hugo meets Alita and tells her to enter motorball race and win it. If Alita becomes a champion, with the money she gets, they both can go to Zalem together. Ito prepares Alita for the race, and tells her to be careful as he can't repair her body if it gets damaged. Vector hires hunter warriors and other cyborgs as contestants to kill Alita. Zepan catches Hugo and his friend Tanji while they are stealing cyborg parts. Zepan kills Tanji and frames Hugo for murdering the cyborg they were taking parts from. Hugo gets injured and now has a bounty on his head, so he runs away from there. Ito realizes that all contestants are killers and warns Alita about them. The race beings and Alita starts eliminating all contestants one by one. Suddenly, she gets a call Hugo, who tells her about Zepan and asks her to meet him at the abandoned church. On her way to church, Alita eliminates the other contestants and reaches in time to stop Zepan. Zepan tells her the truth about Hugo's work and badly injures him. Alita takes Hugo inside the church, where we see Chiron is already present. Chiron is moved by their love and decides to save Hugo's life. She decapitates his head and uses Alita's heart to keep his brain alive. Zepan comes to know about their plan, but Alita grabs his blade sword and slices off his face. Ito transplants Hugo's head onto a cyborg body and saves his life. He tells Alita about Vector's lie that citizens of Iron City will never be able to enter Zalem. He says he was a citizen of Zalem and had a mark on his forehead, and they only can enter Zalem. Alita goes to confront Vector, where he reveals that Chiron has been murdered and her organs and body parts will be sent to Zalem. He says this is the only way citizens of Iron City gets to go to Zalem. Gruishka comes in Vector's office and attacks Alita, but Alita uses her blade and kills him easily. Nova takes over Vector and tells Alita he will hunt down all her loved ones. Alita gets angry and kills Vector, promises Nova to get revenge for Hugo. Ito calls Alita and tells that Hugo has run away from the clinic. Hugo is attempting to climb a factory tube towards Zalem with his new body. Alita goes to Hugo and pleads him to return with her and tells him they can live down happily. Hugo agrees, but Nova sends a massive spike down the tube which cuts Hugo's body. Alita manages to grab Hugo's remaining arm and use her sword to hold onto the tube. Hugo's elbow joints cannot support him and break apart, and he says goodbye, leaving Alita with the remaining of his arm. Alita is devastated, but determined to live on Hugo's memory. Sometime later, Alita is shown as the star athlete of the motorball tournament, where she is about to become champion. The crowd cheers for her as she points her sword towards Zalem, while Nova watches her from above.